Hello. Today we're going to be talking to you about something near and dear to our hearts, and that is the rising costs of Airbnbs. If you remember the days when you could score a great little apartment somewhere for a deal and really get to know the person that you were renting from and have this really unique experience, well, those days are kind of going away. So if you know us, we travel a lot. We're slow travelers, and Airbnb has been a big part of what we've done for the last many years. And it's been really important to us, especially as slow travelers, because we stay places a while. So understanding what's going on with Airbnb, where it's going, where it's been, and kind of what's next is really important to us. So today we wanted to share with you the things that we've learned about what's going on. The prices are going up. We wanted to understand that, and we figured some things out and want to share them with you today. In the late 2000s, Airbnb really started out to do one thing, and that is to share and make some money off of unused space. Back then, two young entrepreneurs in San Francisco were struggling to pay their rent. So they decided to rent out air mattresses on their living room floor to attendees of a design conference who couldn't afford a hotel room. This innovative idea of air bed and breakfast became a concept and ultimately a website that connected travelers and people looking for space with folks that had extra space or unique experiences that they wanted to share and make some money off of. The early days were all about affordability and human connection, allowing people to experience a city like a local and host to earn some extra cash. This new way of peer-to-peer travel accommodation really disrupted the hotel industry. It took off like crazy, and the Airbnb that we know today was quickly launched. Airbnb took off like crazy, and of course now it is something that we all know and many of us use a whole lot. It's hard to believe how much it's grown, and I have some statistics here from SearchLogix. Currently, there are over 5 million Airbnb hosts on the platform, There are over 7.7 million active listings on the platform. Over 100,000 cities have listings on the platform, and there are over 150 million users on the Airbnb platform. And that all comes down to over 1.5 billion stays have been booked so far on Airbnb. Growth can be good, but what does that mean for the core values and kind of the original benefits that all got this going in the first place? These days, booking an Airbnb is less and less and less about saving money, and even less so about interacting and having a neat friendship with your host. For better or for worse, features like self-check-in make it so host and guest never even meet, reducing its peer-to-peer vibe. What's becoming more and more common today is that Airbnb hosts are not doing this part-time to make a little extra money, but it's their primary job, their main thing to do, and their main source of income. Many form LLCs, hire employees, or hire professional property management companies to manage their listings. In fact, NerdWallet reports that almost 3 in 4 Airbnb listings are now managed by hosts with one or more property in their portfolio. This is beginning to affect a customer experience in a lot of ways. We personally experienced this very recently. We were going to go to a resort town that I won't name, but when we started looking at the listings, we determined that many of them that we were interested in were owned by the same person. As we looked and found what we wanted, we found one that was a little less expensive than the others, and we attempted to book it. When we did, the host ultimately rejected our booking because he said he hadn't updated the price, and he turned around a price for us that was 40% higher than what we were seeing on the website. You can imagine we didn't book that one, but it really gave us a rough experience in terms of that particular host. We wound up not even going to that place because of this, but it also kind of left a bad taste in our mouth for Airbnb itself. These kinds of experiences are contributing to the persistent shadow that really now looms over Airbnb. The perception that it's a social ill now more than a savior to today's traveler. Governments are even starting to get involved. New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Honolulu are among the major cities that have passed short-term rental restrictions of varying strictness. There are bills limiting a host to listing just a single address on Airbnb and ban stays of fewer than 30 days. These measures are hoping to eliminate professional hosts from taking long-term rentals from locals. But these measures haven't done a whole lot to really affect the Airbnb price hike that we're all seeing. How bad is it really? Many travelers today are experiencing sticker shock when they look at Airbnb prices, us included. So that really cool place in the city or that little beach bungalow that you wanted to grab is not nearly the deal it was. As a matter of fact, it could be as high or even higher than hotel prices. This is happening everywhere. We're talking double-digit percentage increases across the board. The average daily rate of an Airbnb rental jumped 36% higher from 2019 to the end of 2022, according to the company's chief financial officer during an investor call. Is this just part of the overall inflation we're all seeing on goods and services all over the world? Well, Airbnb's inflation significantly outpaces hotel chains all over the world. Marriott's average rates were only 12.8% higher than 2019. While Hilton's only increased 7.8%, all much lower than Airbnb's 36% jump. So what's causing this dramatic shift? Well, a few things, but one thing's guaranteed: Airbnb is not the deal that it used to be. Okay, let's get into the Airbnb price surge and where it's coming from. We did not imagine all those good deals in the past. They were real. So let's get into the factors that are now driving this price surge in Airbnb today. First, there's no doubt that the great pandemic of COVID-19 affected and transformed the Airbnb business. COVID-19 was a giant blow to the travel sector, including Airbnb, as lockdowns reduced the supply of short-term rentals by 25%, according to AirDNA, a rental data analytics firm. Simultaneously, people also started wanting more space outside of dense cities. Interest rates were very low, so in general, people bought houses during this period, some to live in, others to rent out. Meanwhile, the idea that one could get rich by becoming an Airbnb host found renewed popularity on social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube. By 2021, travel was coming back, but the supply of Airbnbs was still lagging from COVID-19, so prices jumped. Amateur investors eager to meet the Airbnb demand bought up properties to turn into short-term rentals. Between mid-21 and mid-22, the number of new Airbnb hosts in the U.S. jumped by over 50%. Because there are so many available listings now, Airbnb hosts report that they're seeing their bookings plummet. The flood of new hosts has meant fewer can earn good money. Now the markets are completely oversaturated, says mortgage strategy and technology company Haringa. So usually when you see supply go up, you see prices go down, but that's not happening with Airbnb. Remember all those people that got into the business as a business and have all these professional people running it? Well, that drives cost, and generally that raises prices because you've got people running businesses, kind of like hotels, not individuals doing this on the side. Therefore, the prices have not come down. Tight regulatory compliance is also part of the reason why you're paying more for an Airbnb today. We mentioned how many governments have imposed increasingly stringent regulations such as permits and licenses that have significantly increased the operating cost for Airbnb hosts. They have to pass that on to us. Some governments are also imposing taxes on Airbnbs, and of course this is geared to make sure that they try to save the local housing market for the locals. We experienced this personally in Mexico City, who has a very steep Airbnb tax. So if you're in one of those places where there's a tax, you're going to pay a lot for it. Finally, there are fees most everywhere in your life, and you can count on fees from Airbnb. They're a big part of what's driving the cost. The initial price you see for an Airbnb might just be the beginning. Cleaning fees, service charges, local taxes can all sneak in at checkout, adding a significant chunk to the final cost. Let's go deeper into the fee situation. So you found the Airbnb you want, you're ready to roll, and you go to the checkout screen and like, wow, this is not what I was thinking. That's happened to us many times. The prices that you see are not always the prices that you pay when you get to the screen to check out and pay. This practice of adding fees throughout the checkout process is called drip pricing, and the travel industry is one of the worst offenders. We're all familiar with how airlines add baggage and seat selection fees. And Airbnb listings carry cleaning fees, service fees, and taxes that can balloon the cost of a booking, making it harder to answer the question, how much is this Airbnb? Data from NerdWallet Analytics show that overall base price accounted for 68% of the total cost of an Airbnb booking, with taxes and fees making up the remaining 32%. With these extra fees being 32% of the booking, that means if you want a comparison shop, don't look at the first screen, go and look at the total, because that's the only place you're going to see what you're really paying for the Airbnb, and that'll allow you to compare it to other Airbnbs or other options like hotels. For comparison, baked-in fees on hotel rooms average 4.4% of the total cost, according to their analysis of hotel resort fees. Overall, the difference between the list price and the final price on hotels is significantly less dramatic than on Airbnb. To that end, Total Price Display, which was introduced first last year, is getting more widely rolled out across Airbnb's footprint. This shows prices before taxes, but inclusive of other charges like cleaning fees. Along with cleaning fees, you also have to contend with Airbnb's service fees. The percentage taken up by a service fee typically falls between 5% and 15% of the total reservation cost, but it will vary depending on the location of listings and a few of the other factors. Atlanta is the worst city in the country for Airbnb fees, according to an analysis from Forbes. Forbes calculates that about 48% of the cost of an Airbnb stay in Atlanta is made up of fees, cleaning fees, service fee, and taxes. Phoenix was 47%, and Fort Myers Beach, Florida was 46%. Let's now talk about the levers that really drive Airbnb cost and what you can do to make them work in your favor. First, length of trip. For short stays, we now find that Airbnbs are rarely the best deal. The savings will get bigger with trip length. The nightly rate for an average 7-night Airbnb stay was 32% cheaper than a 1-night stay, according to NerdWallet's analysis. Why are longer stays cheaper? Well, it makes sense. The longer you stay, the less bookings the host has to deal with, and the more occupancy he or she has. So they offer incentives through discounts if you stay longer. Another reason is cleaning fees. While not all listings have them, the median cleaning fee is $75, according to NerdWallet's analysis. Since it's a one-time fee, the cost is reduced when you stay longer. Since hotels typically don't have cleaning fees, travelers staying a night or two may be better off with a hotel if Airbnb cleaning fees are steep. For solo travelers and couples, Airbnb is usually also more expensive. NerdWallet compared the price per head for Airbnbs versus hotel rooms in the same city. The average single Airbnb for 6 people was 33% cheaper than booking 3 hotel rooms. But the average hotel was 29% cheaper than booking an Airbnb for 2. Of course, every traveler is different, and other things should come into consideration beyond the sticker price for your Airbnb or hotel when you're making this decision. Ask yourself about transportation. Does the hotel charge for parking? Is the hotel downtown and walkable, whereas the Airbnb might require a car? Consider your food situation as well. Can you skip restaurants by cooking in the Airbnb kitchen? Is the free hotel breakfast more convenient? Also, do you have to consider other amenities in your decision, as is oftentimes the big draw for Airbnbs? Does your Airbnb include a laundry? For remote workers, what about office space? Perhaps a backyard for the kids is important to you. One piece of advice that we absolutely recommend is talk to your host. In these days, you can oftentimes get a discount or negotiate things about your booking by just reaching out and asking. It can't hurt. Many times we've done this and it's really benefited us. We've gotten extended stays, we've gotten discounts, and we've gotten other things that have really given us an opportunity to do an Airbnb at a much better value than was originally listed. So are Airbnbs worth it? Well, sometimes we think so, yeah. It's not all that it used to be though. So if you're booking travel now, go out there and look, compare, make sure that you pay attention to the things that we talked about today and tell us what else you've learned that you can share with us. If you're looking for alternatives to Airbnbs, we've got some videos coming up on that. For example, we just canceled an Airbnb in a city and we've replaced it with a long stay hotel because we needed some things that we didn't see in the Airbnb. And specifically that was flexibility on cancellation. And we like having a front desk. We like having daily maid service and that kind of thing. So don't jump to the conclusion that it's always Airbnb. Look at your alternatives, and we'd love to hear what you think as you explore this with us. Thanks for being here today. Bye.